Good morning. This is a whole new hook and angle because we are painting today. But I'm opening up these cans to actually see what color paint I have. Now, I have my green. I've got my green because I need to touch up the cabinets where Frances, when she was littler, she clawed all over my kitchen cabinets. What color is this? This looks like, if it's an off, we're going to go with it. I have almost a brand new semi-gloss. I think this is just a good old off-white. You know, I'm on vacation this week. Well, at least I'm off from being at the restaurant. I'm seriously debating if I'm going back even. Of course, I only have $164 to my name. But that's my issue, not yours. I used to love to decorate my house. And in this process of trying to figure out what the hell has happened over the last 10 years. You know the movie WALL-E? In the very end, when everybody starts waking up, I think as a society, I think we're there. Things that we've been made to believe. Anyway, I digress. Okay, this is a nice off-white, so that can be something. And I'm going to color drench a lot of stuff, and you have to know the way that I decorate and paint. I use what I have, and then I make it stretch. My house on Bates, that's what I did. Alright, I'm hoping this is also an off-white, and I hope it's not the light blue that I had mixed. Oh, it is. Good. I have two of those. And then I'm going to take you along and I'm going to show you what I'm working on today. And I will get two walls completely done by the end of the day. And then I will have everything back up on the walls. This is perfect. I have 2 cans of off-white. I've got a semi-gloss. I'm not sure where I'll use that. And then I have this green. That I will touch up my cabinet here. And I'm going to try to paint that front door. And if I have to go get another gallon of paint, it's not that big of a deal. That's good. Okay, so 2 off-white, 1, let's have a full semi-gloss, and then I've got about 3/4 of this green. Now I'm going to have to go in and I'm going to have to like bleach and clean everything, and I've swept. I need to bring the shop back up, but I didn't do that either. And I've got all the dogs running around with me. Because, like, why? Okay, now, here's the trick. Can I get up? Can I get up? Hang on. What's behind me? And don't mind this lovely outfit, because I don't care. This is actually my swimsuit top that I wear in the yard. And did you see my vegetables this morning when I posted on my YouTube shorts? I'm so proud of my eggplant. Okay, I'm getting up. Can I do it? I don't know. It's getting harder and harder. Hold on. Okay. Alright, let's take you along. And I can't switch this around, so we're going to have to do it like this. But I brought everything into the kitchen, so I got to touch that up too. Cabinets behind. That fireplace is portable, needless to say, and I picked it up in an antique store because I had to have a mantle. I mean, come on, why would you not? And then the lights once again are going out. At some point I will completely finish this kitchen, but here's the plan. I still have to take all of that off the wall. That wall is going to be off-white. it will match the antique part of that picture. This, I took all the mirrors down. The door is going to be green. I would like to do that wall green if I have enough paint. The ceiling is going to be color drenched in that off-white. And I know your ceiling's supposed to be like white, but I don't want it to. And then, that's bits. And then today I will take the curtains down that I made. Sorry for the lighting. It is like hazy and cloudy, and I'm hoping it's going to rain. But I'm going to take them down today and wash them, get the windows all washed up, pan around. I'll dust off the piano real good. Eventually I'll get to that wall, but that's a whole other process, that wall. All of those pictures are going to come down. And then we get into my office, and then those curtains are going to come down today and get washed. So that's the plan. That's the plan. Okay, let me get you situated here for a minute. Let me see the front. Do you see the front? Out the front door? All my plants. You see them? And then once I paint the front door, I'll get a new outdoor rug. But, you know, that's kind of my plan. Since I'm off and I'm not going anywhere, I used to be such a creative person that once I had my mind on something, I just did it. I just came up with the money. I just did it all. And I don't know what has happened in the last 10 years that I've let so many things go in the process of building a business, in the process of doing traveling, in the process of having a life with a partner, person. So many things have gone swept under the rug. And that's not who I am. That's not who I am. My home is my everything. It doesn't help also my job that I have lent my hand in for the last 32 years. The industry in itself has changed dramatically. And I don't make near the money that I used to. And that's why I've studied to do something else, and to become a life coach and a business coach, and to teach my art classes and communication classes. I need my coffee. That's why I wrote a book. Those are things that, I studied far. Communications, journalism, writing, being creative. If you were skilled and schooled, and you have a creative ability, what has happened in your own life? Oh, that's so good. What has happened in your own life that you've let so many things get swept under the rug, and you have not been able to finish what you originally started? And how many people in that process have come into your life and derailed your original plan? Think about that. I'm not a serial dater, never have been. There will be years in between when a relationship ends before I get into another relationship. That's just who I am. I need to decompress and look at life and the situations, and now that I know psychology and life coaching, I look at everything completely different. I will have already taken everything apart, and compartmentalize, the situation, and put things here on this shelf and put things on a back burner, and till I can assess really what the whole big issue and plan and problem was. When you allow addicts in your life who can't see anything outside of their own selfishness because they are used to controlling and manipulating and gaslighting situations, that they make you think that their transactional love, what you can do for them, and it takes away from yourself. Now, this is not my last person. My last person was generous to a fault. But I think about the years prior to, the 8 years I was made to believe that I was insignificant to his trade or skill. And any time I wanted to do bigger and better and act upon all the things that I had been trained for myself, I was made to dumb down in order to suffice his insignificance. But that's in the past, and that is why I studied, and that's why I continued on when that relationship ended with who I was meant to be and what I was meant to do. And for all of you critics out there, you don't get to pick and choose how somebody else wants to pick up the pieces and how they are participating in their own healing. You can't tell somebody they were not abused because you do not know the situation. You weren't there. You only saw the outskirts and how somebody else made it look like all picnic and candy and roses, when in the meantime the abuse caused somebody so much detrimental damage. And I say that from my own life, and I talk about it because I know there are so many out there that have gone through the same thing. I will say this, because I don't like to talk bad about my person. He is not a bad person by any means. He has his own faults, but then so do we. Each of us. We all have our own little components that make us stubborn and rigid. But when you have two people that are coming together who do not have the same vision, and you have somebody who is expecting growth and progress, and you have somebody who is so afraid to make a decision, somebody so afraid that if they make a decision, it's the wrong decision, therefore they will sabotage the situation, and that person who is trying to love and build and have this, what I will call a traditional type life, with somebody who doesn't even understand what stability looks like within a family dynamic, because they have been made to feel bad for all the things that they have wanted in their life. And when you are a runner and you are constantly trying to escape any emotion so you don't have to feel or act upon the emotion, you just leave everything high and dry. And you don't have follow through. You don't execute any kind of plan because you don't know how to articulate, because you don't even know what it is that you need or want for yourself. You've been programmed in routine and rigidity, and I use the word rigidity a lot because therefore when you're in routine and you are in an organized structure, somebody else allowing you to follow their rules, people become very codependent. And if those people don't know how to think independently and act on their own, when you get with somebody who sees a whole plan, sees a whole vision, sees a whole other way of life, it's conflict in the brain. The heart is saying, why can't you love me and accept me for what I'm doing, but yet you're asking me to change. Where most of us, we're not asking anybody to change. We're asking mostly go within and look to why you are the way you are, and what is it about having progress and going forward and evolving into the next stage. You can't stay at the same level and expect people to be happy for 45, 50, 65 years. Wanting to move, wanting to have a different life. We are who we are within our own little DNA and our own little creative abilities. But if you don't hear the other person out, understanding why they are the way they are, you hit your head against a wall. And after so many times you hit your head against that wall, and how much more can you take? You are brutally keeping yourself stagnant, hurting yourself, while the other person really is just asking you to stay in place and to tolerate what they cannot handle. Now, these are all things I learned when I was studying life coaching. This isn't anything like one morning I woke up and I was just like, okay, I want this and he wants that. Why can't we come together? And it's not so much my life is better than your life, but my life gets us out of the stagnancy and the rigidity. You can still have your own skill. You can still have the same tools that you need to work with. But when you stay in the same place, under the same circumstances, in the same environment, you are doing more damage to yourself. And having that fear of knowing what's on the other side, that's a horrible thing, because if you dare take your toe and you step outside, then you retreat because it's safe, it's familiar, it's comfortable. But then again, you venture out just a little bit farther, but oh no, you can't have anything because you're comfortable in this miserable life that you've created. While I'm off this week, if I can paint and clean, I need to clean, like take everything apart. I always say jokingly, I want to take everything outside and I want to get a power washer and I just want to power wash the whole inside of my house. You know, I have a ceiling fan that I need to have put up. Finding somebody to do that because, you know, they want to get wealthy off of one job. I'll show you this because I've hated this light from the get-go. Let's see, where is it at? There. I hate that light. And I have a ceiling fan that needs to go up there. I want to change that light out, as you know, but the wiring up above needs to be fixed. I often thought about if I was going to stay here long enough, take out part of that wall and extend the back room, but we're not doing that because I want to move. I have all of this merchandise that I created from scratch, from things in my head. I want to get back to doing vendor shows. I want to wait till fall, though. I can't hardly do anything in this heat. The heat this year has just bothered me tremendously. Went to lunch with my work people on Saturday, came home, was sicker than a dog from just in and out of the car and walking across the parking lot. Sunday, completely useless. Yesterday morning was starting to feel a little better. But by last night, I was working in the yard yesterday, bits and pieces. It was too much, but it needed to be done. So I figured while today is the hottest day in the week, and then things are supposed to cool off for the rest of the week, that I'm going to paint. Try to not be online. Try to figure out what I can do with what I have to work with, because I built my business from nothing, from scratch, not a dollar, just an imagination, just some creativity. What do you do? Where do you go next? I did apply for a couple event coordinating jobs yesterday afternoon, reached out to a bunch of different entities. Doesn't hurt to look. You don't even know what it is you want because you're so stuck with where you are. And if you don't start looking to see what other options are out there, you'll always stay in that same place. Swirl on a treadmill. Lowly, don't get in the paint. You don't need no puppies with paint. But I'll try to check back in later. I'll take some pictures and I'll let you know progress. We'll see how much I get done today. We'll see how much I accomplish this week. Trying to figure out, am I going back to that job next week? Or am I going to cold turkey leave it and then, figure out how to survive? You're only made to believe what you want to believe based on your environment and circumstances. You have to decide first. You don't like a situation. You have to be able to be woman enough or man enough to say, hey babe, this ain't working for me anymore. So what is the real issue here? The grass is growing. We're not getting any younger. There's more years behind us than there is in front of us. What is it? What's it going to take? I would love to hear from you. Reach out, kitrynmarie@gmail.com. If you're interested in taking any of my art classes, communication classes, just let me know. Group painting class, $48 a person. Vision board, based in life coaching, $65 a person. How to write a book, $95 a person. If you want a business coaching class where you can take your gifts and your talents and learn how to monetize what you are skilled to do so you don't have to work for anybody else. Maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a crafter, maybe you want to learn how to do the whole vendor show thing. If you take 10 products and sell them at $27 each, that's $270 a day. Can you live on $270 a day? Do you know how to market? Do you know how to speak? Do you know how to make your product or service the best, the greatest, the latest that everybody needs to have? I can show you how to do those things. I can show you how to get set up. I can tell you what kind of sole proprietor licensing that you may need or may not need. If you have a gift, if you have a talent, if you have the ability, if you have a voice, product or service, we are a consumer type nation. There's so much money left on the table. But I can show you how, I can teach you how. In the meantime, today I'm going to paint, try to keep the dogs out of the paint. Got a lot to accomplish this week, which I will do. Peace of mind, tranquility, aesthetics, a curated home. Because that's what I like, and that's who I am. Kitryn Marie, an artist, writer, speaker, life and a business coach, teach a variety of art and communication classes, published author, When He Had Her, available on Amazon. For today, for tomorrow, be happy to be blessed. Be thankful for everything. Remember, fate turns on a dime, and it is up to you to decide what side of that coin you want to be on. But in the meantime, we're going to be sanding and cleaning and painting. Talk to you real soon.